Aprilia have such a stunning legacy with their RSV4. Over a decade in the making, World Superbike titles all over the world on this spectacular machine. All the models that have come out in over a decade, and now for 2022 they've taken it to the next level. You have your RSV4 motor in an unbelievable chassis, however immediately identifiable with this bigger screen. You now have a RSV4 motored Tuono Tourer. Immediately recognizable, this Tuono is different to the Tuonos of the past as we know them. You still have the Tuono V4 Factory for 2022, and that is that hardcore iconic thoroughbred as we know it. It has the smaller fairing in front, and it is really a very focused superbike sports bike in the naked. However, this Tuono V4 without the factory is, as you can see, more of a sports tourer and quickly and easily identifiable with that bigger screen up front. And you have these other little covers that help you with the wind protection. Your whole geometry has been changed on this bike. If you have a look, the handlebars with the handlebar risers, they've been lifted up, brought back to you. If you have a look, your pillion rider was not forgotten. A nice wide seat, good cushioning, as well as dropping your foot pegs on this bike to give more leg room, more spacious ergonomics for your pillion as well. So really well thought out, well laid out, quickly and easily identifiable. It has the iconic RSV4 look about it, so you can identify it off the headlights very quickly. The screen, however, tells you it is more of a tourer. Now, in this bike, you still have the iconic heart of the RSV4. This engine is the 65-degree V4 4-stroke liquid-cooled double overhead cam, 4 valves per cylinder, Euro 5 compliant, 1077cc RSV4 motor. In this, guys, on this bike, it puts out 175 horsepower at 11,350 and 121 newton meters at 9,000 rpm, which is plenty for a sports tourer. I mean, when you ride this, I'm going to jump on it now, it is monstrous power, and if you put it in the sports mode or track modes, it's bordering on violent. So definitely not a beginner bike. And this bike has plenty more about it. 6-speed box. You have the Aprilia quick shifter standard up and down, extremely smooth gearbox. Your suspension sucks front and rear. Your front forks fully adjustable, 120mm travel. Your monoshock at the back sucks fully adjustable, 129mm. You have Brembo brakes, 4-piston calipers, dual up front, the M50 steel emmers, stunning, powerful, top of category braking system, 330mm double disc in front, a 220mm disc with 2-piston Brembos at the back. You have ABS and cornering ABS, proper equipment, 17-inch front and rear light oil alloy wheels shod with a 120 and a 190 at the back. The seat height on this bike is 837mm, which is not too high but also not low. So if you're shorter than 6 foot, you have to be confident and comfortable to be happy only to put 1 foot on the ground. The wet weight of this bike is 209 kilograms, and nice thing about this, 17.9 liters, so nearly 18 liters petrol tank capacity. Good range for touring. And for this Tuono V4 Tourer, sports tourer, you have 2 colors of its own. You have this tarmac gray as we have it in front of here, and as you can see, it's like a very glittery metallic tarmac gray, or the glacier white. When it comes to electronic suite on this bike, really nothing was omitted. If you have a look at it, just like the RSV4 Tuono Factory and Superbikes, you have the APRC Aprilia Performance Ride, you have your engine map, your engine braking, traction control, wheelie control, launch control, cruise control, pit lane limiter, and 6 rider modes. Up here you see touring, push of one button we go sport or user. Those are your 3 road modes. Here you have a petrol gauge, temperature, your gear indicator, everything on this bike, nothing omitted. And what's really stunning about this bike as well, Aprilia has a full set of specialized accessories for the touring. So you get a set of panniers for this. Now imagine putting panniers on this, you have a proper dinkum touring bike. And a bike like this, the Aprilia Tuano V4, I would put in a category where the opposition would be bikes like the Ducati Street Fighter V4S, the Triumph Speed Triple 1200 RS, or perhaps the Kawasaki Ninja H2 SX. But I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go for a ride, do a few turns, twisties, a little bit of highway travel, commuting, lane splitting, and maybe a few twists and turns. But just from the looks, swinging my leg over this bike, it is so familiar. Aprilia, the TFT full color display, stunning bike, quickly identifiable as an Aprilia if you look at those headlights. However, that screen is a giveaway. I am in touring mode because I don't know these roads up ahead and they are twisty. So just to get more familiar with the bike, you just put it on a softer power delivery setting. But you can immediately feel this extreme power of an RSV4. It is a smooth motor. The power delivery is smooth as you roll on. It's not lag anywhere or a dip. It just pulls you gently right through and the power just grows and grows. It's stunning. And the sound of this OEM exhaust is just fantastic. I am a firm believer in loud pipes. I love loud pipes because I do believe they save lives, because motorists look for you. They look out for you when they can hear you coming along. They look out for you and don't wipe you out. Whoa. This bike really will stand on its back wheel. There's a reason for all these rider aids and electronics. The suspension soaks up these speed bumps properly, and this power is just more than enough. It just comes on stronger and stronger. Oh, this bike is a lot of fun. There's an abundance of power, and even when it comes to these tiny little traffic circles and the little speed bumps at low RPMs, the bike is very manageable, docile, non-intimidating, handles well. You can flick it around these little traffic circles. The weight is hidden well. However, if you go past 5,000 RPMs, this bike really wakes up. It wants to throw you off the back. It wants to be a bucking bronco, and I am still in touring mode. So can you imagine in sport mode? And that's what's so exciting here. Lower RPMs. It's comfortable, docile, non-intimidating, fun through these roads. You can commute, you can go down to the shops, and just all around brilliant. And at slower speeds, the quick shifter, very smooth. You can't see this bike rocking around, and I can flip it all the way into fourth gear at 50 kilometers per hour. Downshifting, no hands, fourth, third and second. Really simple, no frills, well sorted electronics on this bike. As you can see, when I roll on, this bike just wakes up, and it's this legendary Superbike power in a sports tourer, so you can play all day and just not get enough of this power. You just have to roll it on another 2-3 millimeters and this bike is a completely transformed beast. And this bike is not out of place on a long tour through the country with panniers on, and it's also not out of place on a racetrack. If you're in full leathers, hanging it off with your knee slider on the ground, cranking it over, you will not be left behind and you will not look out of place on this bike. So you really have the best of both worlds. You have an awesome Superbike with fantastic handling, a well sorted chassis. Have a look at this. Oh, and the brakes are just, you don't know what to test first. It's just wild, this bike. As you roll on the throttle, this thing just wants to go. Here you go. And that quick shifter is so smooth, you can actually not feel it, only hear it on the exhaust note that there's a change. And it's just a lot of fun. Crazy. On the RSV4 Factory, you really are hunched over the handlebars and you're in a really purposeful position, focused on the racetrack, going fast. Now if you were to be in that position for 2 hours, you'd know about it and you need to stop and stretch your legs. Now, oh, here we go, look at that. It is an RSV4. It has everything the RSV4 has, yet I can sit upright. I'm upright, I can put my hands down or no hands, and I am comfortable. I can sit for a long time and tour with this baby. And the pillion rider was not forgotten. They have a much bigger seat, they have more leg room, the foot pegs are lower down, and this is just so wild. These roads are maybe not ideal for this kind of power, but it's ideal if you know what you're doing, because the bike at low RPM just does and behaves as you want it to. So it's not crazy, scary or wild, it's just crazy or scary and wild when you induce it. When your right hand doesn't behave, it's you that doesn't behave. The bike will always behave. This is such a fantastic package, well sorted. I mean, Aprilia know what they're doing. When they build chassis, they know how to build a chassis. If you go back to the RS125, RS250, the number of world titles they've got, Aprilia know how to put together a chassis. Now they've got an aluminium chassis here for a sports tourer. They turned the rear swing arm around for 2021 to make it stiffer, lighter and less welding in the assembly, and it comes from the MotoGP. You can see it's turned around and it just makes this bike handle even better. So you've got this well sorted chassis, you've got phenomenal brakes, top equipment, your suspension is fantastic, your electronic package is brilliant, you have everything. Even you have a sports tourer with a pit lane limiter, you have cruise control, you can even do lap times on this thing, a lap timer. So it's just it caters for everyone. If you an average rider or a novice rider, you can set all the electronic. However, I don't recommend a bike like this for a novice. There's just too much power, it's too much electronics for you. However, if you need to ride a bike like this as a novice, you can look after yourself on the electronic package. And this has everything for somebody that comes off superbikes, wants to tour a little bit. You have both worlds. You don't need two bikes in the garage. You have one bike with dual purpose. One bike and you have two bikes in your garage for the price of one. If you think about it, most of us on this planet cannot afford an Italian thoroughbred hypercar or supercar. However, many of us can actually afford an Italian Icon thoroughbred motorcycle for the price of a Japanese hatchback. So here you have something that is just insane. It's iconic, it's Italian, it's a thoroughbred, it's special. And to have something like this in your garage that you can take out and tour with, you can take out on track days, all rolled up in one. It is a fantastic package. Wow, here we go. That is what it's about. As you roll on, she just lets rip at the back and breaks free. Oh, this makes me fall in love with a bike. When it's so smooth, it's not snatchy, and it just started spinning up a little bit. It's fantastic. It gets the old ticker going, pushing the blood around the body. This is what it's all about. You have good ground clearance for your cornering and that. And like this, sitting upright, raised handlebars, good position, good visibility, and good for commuting, good for traffic. As you can see, rolling on in touring, it is controllable, very manageable, and I'm happy, I'm content. It doesn't intimidate or scare me. However, when I really grab a handful and misbehave, this bike will scare me, but in a nice way. Up ahead there's more traffic, and what we'll do is we'll take the loop onto the highway and just open her a bit, let her breathe deeply and see what it feels like. And I'll switch over to sport mode. And the beauty of switching these rider modes, if you have it pre-selected, it's the push of one button. You also have cruise control if you're touring. Cruise control is just up here, very simple. And changing rider modes is the push of one button over here, and you'll see the tour up ahead goes to sport. Whoa! Yeah, one button and green, and we're on sport. This seat is fairly wide left to right over here, and I can, at my 6-foot frame, get both feet flat on the ground, knees are slightly bent, and on the foot pegs you can see my thigh tucks in nicely under this ridge over here on the petrol tank. So very comfortable, good seating position, and there we go. Quick shift, quick shift. Oh, smooth, very smooth. Gonna go onto the highway so I can open her up a little bit and let this puppy breathe. It's all in the wrist. If you can control your right wrist, then this bike is for you. If you cannot control your right wrist, this bike is not for you, because it just sucks you in, it draws you in, it just wants you to open it up. It wants you to just roll on. Yeah. As I'm rolling on, just pulls out, pulls here. I'm already well over the speed limit, getting into trouble. Well over the speed limit, putting me in jail. So, big money is needed for bail. Just absolutely insane power. Love it. Love it. Unfortunately, I cannot show you the dash, but believe me, this is the Iconic RSV4 motor. It does everything my RSV4 does. It is beautiful. The vibrations are just that tingling through the foot pegs, perfect at 6,000 RPMs here, sitting at 6,000 RPMs. And have a look at that. I'm going to roll on smoothly. Have a look at how she's pulling out. Insane. This curve is just not ending. That power is so linear, and it just does not tip. It does not fall off. It's an insane motor. Now I can go wild and I can open her up hard on the gas. You can see she rocks forward and back. There's the power delivery. If I go over to touring, there we go, touring, you see it's power on tap is smoother. Going back to sport, and watch this. If I just quick shifter, drop one gear, and this is a missile. Fantastic motor. I don't know what's better, the motor or the chassis. The handling is sublime on this bike. Whether you idling around at low RPMs through these tiny little traffic circle in residential areas or back roads on a little hilly section, or you're opening it up on the open road like this, or you're getting into a sport rider position, leaning forward, putting your weight forward and getting aggressive, this bike has everything for you. Now, I don't promote any sort of street racing. If you want to show what you got, please take it to the racetrack and don't do it on the roads. I was just opening up this bike and just playing with the motor a little bit to see what kind of a motorcycle this is, what kind of a beast this is, and if she is RSV4. I have taken my RSV on the track. I have taken IMI's demo on the track. Fantastic motorcycles, and I can vouch for it that this look, feel very similar, and now you're getting an RSV4 you can actually tour with. From a hefty speed, here we're going, still accelerating, and then two-finger braking. Have a look at this. You can really stand this bike on its nose. The brakes are phenomenally strong. They are equally as strong as this motor. It's fantastic. I really do believe that this motorcycle, the Aprilia Tuano V4, belongs in the stable of Holy Grail iconic Italian bikes. This deserves its place. It is fully competent as a tourer, as a track weapon. It is the crossover and the dual purpose bike of a touring bike slash sport superbike. It has everything. It has the power, it has the chassis, it has all the niceties and the safety features. Oh, this is absolutely stunning. I hope you enjoyed this episode with me, the ride and review of the amazing, stunning Aprilia Tuano V4. It is an Italian icon in my eyes. It is a stunning bike. I hope you enjoyed this ride and review. If you did, please give me a thumbs up and a like up, and please don't forget to hit that subscribe button to help me build the channel, and if you like, that reminder bell so you always know when I'm uploading new content.